Last summer, I almost stopped sitting outside completely. Not because it was too hot, not because of the neighbors, not because of bugs in general, just mosquitoes. And I'm not talking about a couple annoying bites every now and then. I mean the kind of mosquitoes that make your backyard feel cursed. The kind where you step outside for 45 seconds to throw something in the trash and come back inside scratching your ankle like you just walked through a swamp. Every single evening was the same. You'd hear that tiny buzzing sound near your ear, then another one, then another. You'd slap your arm, miss, slap your neck, miss again. Then 5 minutes later, you'd look down and somehow your legs looked like you lost a fight with poison ivy. And the weird part? It felt like everybody around me was pretending this was normal. People spend thousands of dollars building patios, outdoor kitchens, fire pits, backyard lounges, and then they only use them 3 months out of the year because tiny flying vampires basically claim ownership of the yard after sunset. What finally pushed me over the edge was my neighbor. This guy was spending hundreds of dollars every summer on professional mosquito treatments. Every few weeks, a truck would show up. A guy in goggles would walk around spraying some mystery fog all over the bushes, and for maybe 2 days, it would seem a little better. Then the mosquitoes came right back, same exact cycle. Meanwhile, another guy down the street had enough citronella candles on his patio to summon spirits from the underworld, and he was still getting eaten alive every night. That's when I realized something important. Everybody was fighting mosquitoes completely backwards, including me. Because for years, I bought every stupid product you can think of. Bug zappers, citronella candles, mosquito bracelets, propane traps, ultrasonic plug-ins, battery-powered tennis racket things. One time I even bought one of those expensive mosquito machines that claimed it could protect up to 1 acre. 1 acre. That thing cost almost $300, and somehow I was still getting bitten while sitting 10 feet away from it. At one point, I became completely convinced mosquitoes were just impossible to stop unless you lived in the desert. Then something happened that changed the way I looked at the entire problem. I met a mosquito control technician, not some influencer online, not some company trying to sell me a monthly subscription, an actual county mosquito guy. And what he told me completely changed everything. He said most homeowners are trying to fight the symptom instead of the source. That sentence stuck in my head for days because he explained something almost nobody thinks about. The mosquito biting you tonight probably wasn't even alive last week. That one sentence explains why almost every mosquito product feels temporary. You kill a few adults, a few hundred more hatch. You spray the yard, more hatch. You light candles, more hatch. Because the real problem isn't the mosquitoes you can see, it's the thousands you can't. And once I understood that, I started noticing things I had ignored for years. Tiny things, a little puddle inside an old flower pot tray, rainwater sitting in a folded tarp, a clogged gutter holding brown water, an upside-down trash can lid, a wheelbarrow near the fence, a bird bath I hadn't cleaned in forever. Tiny amounts of water, that's all it takes. And this part sounds fake until you look it up yourself. Mosquitoes can breed in water the size of a bottle cap. A bottle cap. That means your backyard could literally be manufacturing mosquitoes without you even realizing it. And suddenly, everything made sense. The reason spraying never worked long term. The reason bug zappers felt useless. The reason mosquitoes kept coming back. They weren't coming back. New ones were constantly being born. That's the difference. Once I realized that, I completely stopped focusing on adult mosquitoes. Instead, I started hunting breeding spots. And honestly, the first time I did a full walk around my property, it felt like I unlocked cheat codes, because suddenly you start seeing the yard differently. You stop looking at objects and start looking for water. That flower pot near the porch? Water. The sagging grill cover? Water. The old tire behind the shed? Water. The recycling bin lid? Water. The low spot near the fence after rain? Water. Every single one of those places can become a mosquito factory. And here's the scary part. The mosquito life cycle is insanely fast. In hot weather, eggs can turn into biting adults in less than a week. That means if water sits around for even a few days, you could already have a new generation hatching, which explains why some people feel like mosquitoes explode overnight, because they kind of do. So I started testing things, not products, systems. That's the important difference. I started doing a 10-minute walk every Saturday morning, dumping water, turning things over, cleaning containers, checking corners of the yard, and within 2 weeks, the mosquito population noticeably dropped, not completely gone, but dramatically lower. Enough where evenings outside actually became enjoyable again. That alone already worked better than most products I had bought, but there was still one problem. Some water sources can't really be removed. That's the part nobody talks about. Maybe there's a drainage ditch behind your house, or a decorative pond, or a rain barrel, or a low spot that floods after storms, or maybe your neighbor has a swamp disguised as a backyard and there's nothing you can do about it. That's where I found the thing that completely changed the game. And the crazy part, it wasn't expensive, it wasn't high-tech, and it wasn't some secret military chemical. In fact, when I first heard about it, I almost ignored it because it sounded too simple. But before I tell you what it is, there's something important you need to understand first. Mosquitoes don't spend most of their time flying around randomly. They rest. During the day, they hide in cool, shaded areas, tall grass, dense bushes, wet mulch, under decks, thick ivy, overgrown corners of the yard, basically anywhere damp, shady, and protected from wind. That's why some yards feel way worse than others even in the same neighborhood. One yard might be open and breezy, another might be packed with thick shrubs and standing moisture. To mosquitoes, one feels like a desert. The other feels like a luxury resort. So I made another change. I started trimming vegetation harder, cutting grass shorter, opening airflow under bushes, cleaning leaf piles, and weirdly enough, that helped almost as much as eliminating water. Because mosquitoes are terrible flyers, most people don't know this. A simple breeze completely ruins them, which leads to probably the funniest discovery I made during all this. The best mosquito repellent I own is literally a cheap box fan. I'm serious. One $20 fan pointed across a seating area works ridiculously well, not because it kills mosquitoes, because they can barely fly against moving air. And on top of that, the airflow disperses your carbon dioxide cloud, which is how mosquitoes track humans in the first place. I tested this myself one night. I sat outside without a fan. I got bitten multiple times in 10 minutes. I turned the fan on. Same chair, same weather. 0 bites, 0. That's when I realized most mosquito control companies probably hate simple solutions, because simple solutions don't make recurring revenue. But there was still one final piece missing. I had reduced the population. I had made the yard less attractive. But I still wanted to attack the actual breeding cycle directly. That's when I found the thing I wish somebody had told me years earlier. And honestly, this is the entire reason I made this video. Because once you understand this one concept, mosquito control suddenly becomes stupidly simple. The product costs almost nothing. It has been used for decades. It targets mosquito larvae before they become biting adults. And somehow nobody talks about it outside gardening forums and mosquito control departments. The crazy part? It is technically not even a poison. It is a naturally occurring bacteria, and this stuff works by turning mosquito breeding water into a dead zone for larvae. The adults lay eggs normally, the eggs hatch, then the larvae die before becoming flying mosquitoes, meaning instead of fighting thousands of adults one at a time, you stop entire generations before they exist. That's the difference. The product is called BTI, sometimes sold as mosquito bits or mosquito dunks. And this tiny cheap thing completely changed my backyard. One small dunk can treat large amounts of standing water for weeks. Rain barrels, drainage areas, decorative ponds, ditches, flood spots, basically any place where mosquitoes breed. You just place it in the water and let it work. That's it. No spraying your whole yard, no chemical fog, no weird propane machine, no expensive seasonal contract, just breaking the mosquito life cycle at the source. And once I combined that with removing standing water, cleaning up shady harborage areas, and using simple airflow from a fan, the difference became insane. Last summer was the first summer in years when people actually wanted to sit outside at my house after sunset. No constant swatting, no panic sprinting back indoors, no waking up covered in bites. And the funniest part? The total cost was less than what most people spend on one dinner delivery order. That's why whenever I see someone spending hundreds on mosquito treatments now, I honestly just feel bad. Because most people are attacking the problem completely backwards. They fight the mosquitoes they can see. Instead, they should be stopping the thousands they cannot. And once you understand that difference, mosquito control becomes way easier than people think.